Everyone, welcome to the show. So, all eyes today are on Tennessee, and not because the song is so great. To Tennessee, to Tennessee, Lord, I Billy, Lord, I really been distressed. Anyway, um, okay, enough of the jokes, but I'm in a good mood because there is a special election down there that could be a massive upset. It could serve as a huge bellwether for next year's midterm elections. So Republicans are freaking out about this because this race is so tight and they're throwing a ton of money at it. If you haven't heard about this election, here's what all's going down. So the 7th U.S. House District in the state of Tennessee was left vacant because Republican lawmaker Mark Green resigned. He resigned in July of this year. This is a ruby red district. No one expected it to be a legitimate battle because of that, because Trump won it by so much, which I'm going to share a video with you to show you exactly how much. But as of last week, the Democratic candidate, her name is Aftyn Behn, she is only now 2 points, according to some polling, only 2 points behind the Republican Matt Van Epps. This is, I believe, the Emerson poll. So as you see here, he's at 48, she's at 46. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, well, polling has always been wrong, blah, blah, blah. There's so many people think that the polling was wrong last year in saying that Kamala Harris was going to win. I don't know what shows you were watching if you're that person, but I never claimed that on this show. There were a couple of polls that showed her ahead, but by barely, just a couple of points. There were maybe some outliers that showed her with a bigger margin, but for the most part, all of the polling was too tight. It was within the margin of error. So I kept saying, it's too close for comfort. Donald Trump could actually win this. There was a chance that Kamala Harris could pull it out of the ditch, but, you know, it wasn't a sure thing. And here's the other thing. What we know from all of the special elections that have happened this year, all of the pollsters seem to have taken this messaging about getting the polling wrong. They've taken it to heart, but what they've done is they've overcorrected, it seems, because now all of the polling is underestimating the Democrats. If you look back to the special elections that we just had last month, all of those polls showed that those races were very tight. You know, they were showing like Mikey Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger, like within single digit leads, you know, maybe 4 points, 6 points, some 7, 8, but none of them predicted the double digit leads that they ended up winning by. So if that trend holds, Aftyn Behn could win. It is a massive long shot, don't get me wrong, but it is definitely keeping these people up at night. So take a listen. This is what a couple of analysts had to say about this race.
You're even talking about this race is bananas, right? Donald Trump won the district a year ago by 22 percentage points. And it would be a political earthquake if she ends up the winner in this ruby red district. But, you know, she taking a 22-point district and getting both sides to spend millions of dollars to say, hey, this is actually competitive, that shows you the political climate that we're in right now.
In 2016, he won it by 17 points. 2020, 15 points. And then in 2024, Johnny B, takes the cake here. We get Donald Trump winning by 22 points. Results, when a party outperformed in special elections since 2005, 5 out of 5 times they went on to win the House of Representatives in the next midterm. So what's happening, what's likely to happen tomorrow in Tennessee, what has happened across the congressional map is likely not to stay in 2025, is likely to push forward and be very good news for Democrats come 2026. What?
Yeah. So as you heard there, this race and the recent polling has Donald Trump and the Republican Party just losing it. Like they're having to spend millions of dollars to hold on to a seat that should be the easiest layup, the easiest win for them ever. Donald Trump just won this election, or just won this district by 22 points. This should be a walk in the park, no brainer, like a sleeper candidate, a sleeper election. And yet every major news network is covering this and on pins and needles to see how this is going to go. And Trump has been resorting to begging his subscribers to go out and vote for Van Epps. So he has been on Truth Social, on, over on Kool-Aid Central, begging people multiple times, get out there and vote. You gotta vote for Van Epps. He's so great, blah, blah, blah. Of course, he's using the same old tired playbook, same old fear-mongering talking points, gaslighting his supporters at the same time about his failing presidency. So, he's saying, oh, we're doing so great. My presidency is going so well. And we're getting costs under control. I mean, just lying through his teeth while painting Aftyn Behn as some sort of radical leftist, crazy, socialist. Blah. I mean, just, it's so ridiculous. Anyway, there is definitely something up, I think, though, with Donald Trump's health, as I've mentioned to you guys, because he didn't even bother to fly down to rally for this guy. So there is either something going on with him, or he just thinks, yeah, he's got it in the bag. I don't need to waste my time, because he literally just phoned it in. Like he just did a telephone rally for Van Epps. And then check out what Republican Foxo's Dana Perino had to say about this race. She is making the case that Democrats are so fearless at this point that they feel so secure about their place and position right now that they don't even care that this candidate is being tied to socialism. So take a listen.
From the beginning, since Mom Donnie was on the scene, this is coming to a city near you. This is where the energy is. Whoever is in power in the White House typically has a hard time in that first midterm. AOC has figured out, okay, she's picking people. Matt Van Epps, you could not find a better candidate. He checks he's an amazing American, this patriotic guy. He's willing to serve, and yet it's this close. I do think that he will win.
I hope he does.
But the fact that it is close is a warning sign to Republicans everywhere that this Democratic energy from the far left is not going to stop. And it won't be Jessica necessarily, but you'll have Democrats, maybe Harold will say, she's not a real Democrat. No, this is actually where the party is going. She campaigned with AOC the weekend before the election. That tells me that they're not worried about her.
Yeah, they're concerned. And they know the Republican Party is in deep shit next year. If they weren't, Trump wouldn't be trying to rig the midterms with all of his redistricting. And good news, I don't know if you guys heard about this, after Donald Trump lobbed a slur at Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota last weekend, he called him the R word, used for disabled people. One of the lawmakers in Indiana, where they've been trying to, at least some of the leaders have been pushing for redistricting like Donald Trump wants them to do, to take away more Democratic seats. One of the lawmakers there said, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm putting my foot down. I'm not going through with this. I don't appreciate the slur that he used. I have a daughter who's disabled, and that's disgusting. So it just shows Donald Trump's power is eroding day by day. Every single day, there is some new sign that we have that he is losing power over the Republican Party. It's what we've been waiting for 10 years. It is finally happening. And let's be clear, this is only happening because it's now affecting them. because they are losing races, because they are in trouble. They are at risk of losing their seats and losing their jobs and their income. And it's because of him. Otherwise, they don't give a damn. So anyway, guys, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this. I'll let you know tomorrow what happens. The polls apparently close at 8 p.m. in Tennessee, so on the East Coast. As I've mentioned in a post earlier today, I am going to be on the podcast with the Devil's Advocate. So he's here on YouTube. Be sure to check that out. I'm going to be on there at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. So we will be on shortly before the polls close. And so I will be keeping an eye on that. I plan on keeping it up on my screen while we're doing the podcast and the live stream. And so who knows? I mean, if it goes really well for either one of them, it might be called earlier than after the polls close. So anyway, I will let you know. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you possibly can. Love you guys. Take care. Talk with you soon.